Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wolf Pit with another episode of What Are We Eating? I don't know if Sloppy Joe sandwiches are nearly as popular as they used to be when I was a kid. We'd have Sloppy Joe sandwiches and potato chips, or french fries, or tater tots, or macaroni and cheese at least once a week for dinner when I was a kid. And it didn't matter if it was made with a can of Del Monte Sloppy Joe mix or Hunt's Men with Sloppy Joe mix. I, for one, was just happy that we were going to have ground beef sandwiches with a sweet, tangy tomato sauce on them, along with french fries, potato chips, tater tots, or macaroni and cheese. What more could a kid ask for? Are Del Monte Sloppy Joes or Hunt's Manwich sandwiches as good and popular as they used to be? I need for you, the people, to let me know. Do families sit down at dinner tables and have Sloppy Joes for dinner anymore? Well, today, I'm going to be trying both Del Monte's Sloppy Joe mix and Hunt's Manwich mix. And then when we're done trying those, I'm going to show you how I make homemade Sloppy Joes at home. And I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I already know which Sloppy Joes are going to be the best. So let's try the 15-ounce can of Del Monte's original Sloppy Joe sauce that costs $1.49, which out of 356 ratings received 4.6 stars out of 5. Here's a list of ingredients. There's 6 quarter-cup servings per can. Each serving has 60 calories, no fat, no saturated fat, no trans fat, no cholesterol, 440 milligrams of sodium, 13 grams of carbohydrates, 1 gram of fiber, 9 grams of sugars, and 1 gram of protein. Now for the 15-ounce can of Hunt's Manwich Original Sloppy Joe sauce, which costs $1.88. Now they both say the original. This is almost like Pat's versus Geno's. Out of 414 ratings, it received 4.1 stars out of 5. So at least according to their ratings, you, the people, much prefer the Del Monte Sloppy Joe sauce over the Hunt's Manwich sauce. But I want to hear from you, the people, in the comments. Which one do you prefer? Here's the list of ingredients. There's 6 quarter-cup servings per can. Each serving has 35 calories, no fat, no saturated fat, no trans fat, no cholesterol, 310 milligrams of sodium, 8 grams of carbohydrates, 1 gram of fiber, 6 grams of sugars, and less than 1 gram of protein. So as you, the people, already know, you need ground beef or some other kind of ground meat to make Sloppy Joes. Now, as soon as I made that statement, I know there's going to be a scooter out there that says you can make Sloppy Joes with tofu, TVP, etc. And Scooter, you're absolutely right. You can use whatever makes your little heart content to make your Sloppy Joes the way you like them. I've even heard people are using beach sand in recipes nowadays. You should try that, Scooter. So I had my skillet over medium-high heat, and I've added 1 pound of 80/20 ground beef. Now we're going to chop it up and brown it until it's cooked through. And then once it's done, I'm going to remove half the meat and leave the other half in the skillet. And don't worry, all that moisture you see in the skillet is basically water. There might be a little bit of fat in there, but it's not a lot of fat. But if you want to drain it, you can. I'm not. So once the ground beef has been cooked through and we've removed half, now we're going to add half a can of the Del Monte Sloppy Joe sauce. Then give it a good mix, bring it up to a simmer, and let it cook for 3 to 4 minutes until it's slightly thickened. And then remove it and set it aside. And then just take a couple paper towels and wipe out the inside of the skillet. And then add the rest of the ground beef back to the skillet. And then add half the can of the Manwich Sloppy Joe sauce. And the same thing as before, give it a mix, bring it up to a simmer, and let it simmer uncovered for 3 to 4 minutes until slightly thickened. And then once it's nice and thick, remove it from the skillet, and it's time to eat. Now before we make our sandwiches, I wanted to try the Sloppy Joe mixtures by themselves first. So this is the Del Monte Original Sloppy Joe sauce. And it looks good. It looks like Sloppy Joe. So we scooped up a big old spoonful to fit in my big old pie hole, and it looks and smells delicious. So into the old pie hole and down the gullet it went. And that was just simply a taste of sweet and tangy nostalgia. I can't tell you how many years it's been since I've had a Sloppy Joe, but this brought back a whole lot of memories. So many, I wanted to have a few more, so I took another bite. For you, the people, so you don't have to. Actually, this bite was for me, the person, because I enjoyed it. Now let's try the Hunt's Manwich, which visually, it looks thicker than the Del Monte Sloppy Joe. So we got another big old spoonful, and then into the old pie hole and down the gullet it went. Once the Manwich hit my tongue, a party started. In all of my years of eating Sloppy Joes and Manwiches, I never realized there was such a big difference. Or maybe I did and I just don't remember, but there's a big difference. Both Sloppy Joe sauces are really good. But the Manwich Sloppy Joe sauce is more robust and has a better depth of flavors and spices. Well, that's a Sloppy Joe mixture by itself. Let's see how it tastes between two buns. The Del Monte Sloppy Joe mixture goes on the left bun, and then the Hunt's Manwich mixture goes on the right bun. And then the top bun goes on. And then into my old pie hole and down the gullet it goes. And again, it's like taking a bite back in time. It's so nostalgic, biting into a sandwich you ate throughout your childhood. Now for the Manwich Sloppy Joe. And for one final time, into the old pie hole, and down the gullet it went. And now, after giving both of them a try, after not trying either for a number of years, I think they're both very good. And I, the adult, think that the Manwich is much more suitable for adults, and the Del Monte Sloppy Joe is more suitable for children. And that's certainly not a knock on Del Monte Sloppy Joe. I think the Del Monte Sloppy Joe is a more basic, straightforward, ketchup-style sauce that's more friendly to kids' young, still developing palates, over the bolder flavors of the Hunt's Manwich Sloppy Joe. So I'm giving the Del Monte Original Sloppy Joe sauce a 7 out of 10, and the Hunt's Manwich Original Sloppy Joe sauce an 8 out of 10. Now let me show you, the people, how I, the person, make homemade Sloppy Joes at home. And speaking of nostalgia, this video is from almost 12 years ago. So sit back and, as Chef John says, enjoy. We're going to start off with 1.25 pounds of ground chuck. We're going to break this up and brown it up. As our ground beef continues to brown, we're going to go ahead and add in 1 medium bell pepper and 1 medium Vidalia onion. You could use less or more. I like a lot of vegetables in mine, so we're going to put in a good amount. Our ground beef is browned down and our vegetables are becoming tender, so I'm going to go ahead and add in a cup of water, 1 cup of ketchup, a 1/2 cup of apple cider vinegar, 1/4 cup of brown sugar, about a tablespoon of chili powder, a tablespoon of granulated garlic, 2 teaspoons of black pepper, and about a teaspoon of salt. Mix this up and let it simmer for a couple minutes. Okay, our Sloppy Joe mixture has been simmering for about 15 minutes now, and it's reduced by about half. And now what I'm going to do is just tighten this up just a little bit with about a tablespoon of water and about 2 teaspoons of cornstarch. So we're going to add this in here, stir it up, and once it thickens, we're done. This will also add a nice little sheen to it as well. See how that tightens it up right away. Alright, our Sloppy Joe is done. I was thinking about foregoing the embarrassment of me taking a bite of this in front of you guys, but I forgot you guys don't see my face, so I can take the bite and make a big mess, and you just don't see. So we have a toasted Kaiser roll here. We're going to top this up. And there's our nice, beautiful Sloppy Joe. And I'm going to go ahead and take a bite of this and see how much of a mess I cannot make. Well, they call these Sloppy Joe for a reason. I'll tell you what, the flavor to me is spot on. Sweet, savory, just a tiny bit spicy. Very, very good. And thank God I added a little bit of the cornstarch just to tighten everything up, keep it on the bun. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and finish eating. Now, was that a throwback video or was that a throwback video? Hey, don't forget, if you haven't already and you want to, check out my Amazon wish list in the description of this video. If you don't want to check it out, that's cool too. I still love you, the people. Thank you all very much for watching. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.